I have had an opportunity to come and witness postgraduate students making their presentations at a forum like this. Normally, it is done in the University of Nairobi at, if you are supervising 2 or 3 students, they do it in your laboratory. But to bring students to a forum like this, I know this is a new requirement, but it is a good requirement. It also demonstrates that this is a peaceful environment. And really, all of you students, you should guide that this peaceful environment should not be interrupted. Because you are able to come and present your work, and if we have had demonstrations or this type of thing, you will not have a time to really come and present or complete your work. One thing which has come to my mind, and looking at students, is to watch how they make their presentation. To some of you, this is relatively new. To others, you are now getting into the practice of doing this. But at all times, there are several things you should do. And remember that when you come to make a presentation, it is actually like appearing before a lady who you would want to marry. Your first presentation and appearance is very important. Right from the attire you put on and the way you are going to speak. I know during my time, we used to, it doesn't really matter what field you are in, but at least you had to learn how to be able to compose very nice letters, and if you went a step further, excellent poetry to try and impress your lady. It's still the same here. Make sure that your first presentation is really important. And also the way you present your material, you should show confidence. And confidence in such a way that when you address the audience, immediately you give the impression that you know what you are talking about. Secondly, it also gives the impression to the audience that the work is yours. And one point which should come to mind, that you should learn right from the beginning, once you join the graduate school or the School of Graduate Studies, that teamwork is very important. And in this question, at this point, teamwork is important in terms of supervisors and in terms of colleagues who are also doing the same or almost related type of work. So you should be free to consult, and you have nothing to hide, and you are consulting and also asking relevant questions with a view to eventually arriving at a very important product. And you can see that a student might actually know quite a lot, but he's afraid of facing the audience, or he hasn't learned how to make this presentation. And when you reach this level, at the PhD level, quite frankly, there is no difference between you and your supervisors. It's only a matter of time and opportunity that you are going to be given the fora for you to present your work. And there is nothing which makes your supervisor very happy than to see you making a very good presentation. When this young gentleman was making the presentation, I could hardly hold myself. I felt very happy because I can see that the type of problems which it has lingered in my mind for a very long time, we're just about to solve it. And we have a bright student who is able to do this. And this is why I have to apologize, because at times I have had to be a bit abrupt and answer questions before, and yet he was the one who was being asked questions. Because I got excited. And this is what we want. And what you young people should know, really, it will be really, we would have wasted our time if we have taught in the universities for a long time and you don't have, there's no time you never say that, well, so-and-so was my student. Person who has published this paper was my student. You feel very proud. And it's even more important because, like now, if you have a son and for some reason he got some money, then you always start to ask him, where did this fellow get the money from? But in academia, you feel very proud if your student does very well. And the other thing which you should always bear in mind, and this is what is going to determine the quality of the work you are experimenting on, is the journals you are going to publish. And normally, just as I said yesterday, in physiology or other fields, you do experiments, but long before you even do those experiments, the question you ask should also lead to you to say that, yes, like the work on Bedouin Arabs wearing black robes, we knew right from the beginning that this is the work which is going to find its way in the publication of Nature. The type of work Roger is doing now, I already have in mind which journal this work is going to go to. And if it is accepted, then it would really be an achievement, because I have in mind, say, either proceedings of the Royal Society of London, B, which is biological sciences, or philosophical transactions, depending on the length and the of the paper. And if that happens, it will be a great achievement, because very few, I don't know of anybody who has published in that journal. Here in Kenya, I think we have, it's only myself and my former student, John Miney. So you always also think of, yes, for my work to get international attention, I'm aiming at such and such a journal. And it depends on your field. A lot of you people are working on heat transfer. This is, you will always say that, well, one of the important group of people working in this particular area is people at Imperial College in London. And where do they publish their work, as far as heat transfer is concerned? Then you look at where they publish, and you say that I'll also aim at publishing there. One paper which is going to be presented later on is on modeling of HIV/AIDS. I know the leading authority is a friend of mine, and I think the student who is working in this particular area, you must have come across him. And this person is very unique because he did his degrees in physics right from undergraduate to the PhD level. And then he went on. He completely forgot physics and came into biological sciences. And the first time I met him is when he was invited to give a lecture at Harvard. And the title of the lecture is When 2 + 2 Doesn't Equal 4. And this person is Lord Robert May, who is working on HIV.
I'm working on HIV.
You are?
Yes.
Have you come across it?
In my research?
Yes.
Yeah. He's one of my references.
Yes, he's a very unique person. He left physics and he was a professor of biology at Princeton, and then came to London and had a double professorship at Imperial College and then also Oxford University. And he has the largest research group working in this particular area at Oxford. And his students have done very well. And you have seen that a lot of his papers have been published in Proceedings of the Royal Society, B. And he is a very pleasant person, very humble, but extremely bright. And he used to tell us that, well, what really drove me into, because he believes that he's an ecologist, what drove me into working in ecology is that I thought that these ecologists were wasting time. They go and sit on an anthill with binoculars, counting how many times an elephant defecates, and go and write a paper on that. That is rubbish. So that is another person you aim to say. Lord May, who was the president of the Royal Society, he has been publishing in these journals, are also published there. And many others. And you are not only giving yourself a name, you are also giving this university a name. And this is what we want. And I feel very gratified because we visited Kakamega, and there is Masinde Muliro University there, but the Jomo Kenyatta campus at Kakamega has more MSc and PhD students. A lot of the students would do anything to come and do a PhD at this particular university. And even at the University of Nairobi, I can now see that as far as applied mathematics is concerned, or even mathematics, Jomo Kenyatta is actually quite ahead of University of Nairobi. My only disappointment is that we have watched all these presentations, but we haven't seen a lady come before us. And we would want to see them. We don't want them to compete with us. These days, they also wear suspenders, the way men wear suspenders and their trousers. So they should also compete. And I ask myself, why do they go? When I give degrees, it gratifies me or makes me very happy to see young girls getting first-class honors in electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. But where do they go? they should also start to appear at this particular level. One of the authors who was quoted in the paper by Rogers is a lady called Dr. Brooks. She did her PhD in Department of Applied Mathematics at University of Leeds under Professor Bentley. So really, ladies and gentlemen, when I look at you, you are very young, and you should show that the windows and doors of opportunities have opened to you when you are very young. You should really be at the forefront of working, doing postgraduate studies at the PhD level. There is one thing which hasn't caught up here in Kenya, and that is the question of postdoctoral studies. You finish a PhD, then the country is short of PhD holders. But that should not make you to run and join employment. What you should aim at is that, well, I have done my PhD, and my friend there will say that my next stop is a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Oxford in the Department of Zoology, where Lord May and his group have got a very active group there. And you are very lucky because you have a very peaceful environment like here to do your own work. In the developed world, competition is very stiff. And you find that a lot of you who are working more or less on a related field, if it was in America or in Britain, you don't talk to one another. If you are from two laboratories, you don't talk to one another. If anything, you guide your you sort of hide your research findings because they can easily be stolen. Or you sort of show somebody and they see that he has left this particular point unanswered. Then they spend 24 hours in the laboratory to solve that, and then the next thing, the paper is submitted to a journal, and you lose. So let this not be the end of your researches. You should aim to go at least, this idea of getting first degree, second degree, third degree in one university, well, it is all right, but I don't encourage it. You should have a change. And the change, if you haven't been able to get it by doing a PhD in another laboratory, then you can go and do postdoctoral studies where you learn different ways of approaching research. So, again, let me say that I'm really very happy and to have watched you young people making this presentation, but you should develop a culture of developing confidence in speaking, developing confidence in your own work, developing confidence in your own presentation. And eye contact is very important. During the emergency, the Kikuyus were very clever because you'll find two Kikuyus, one comes from that direction, the other comes from that direction. They sit on an anthill, one facing that way, the other one facing this other way. They are discussing, and after a little time, the Wazungus were observing them. Then they wake up, the other one goes his own way, the other, then they say that those people, they have not discussed anything important. Because to the Mzungu, eye contact is very important. And since these two people have not looked at one another, they were not friends. and they couldn't possibly have discussed anything important. And maybe they have already discussed how to come and raid those Wazungu's homes. So for you, you should also develop this question of eye contact when you're giving presentation is quite important. And another thing is honesty. Always put acknowledgements where you have been assisted. And as you go on, you are going to realize that multidisciplinary approach to research is now beginning to be very, very important. The type of problem which Roger is working on, I mean, it's a type of problem which I myself, I know the physiological implications, but I don't have the mathematical knowledge to solve that particular problem. And maybe it may develop in such a way that we may have to ask somebody from a different field to come and work with us. And definitely this is actually the case, because if we are going to make any more of these pressure determination, we may need a surgeon. We may need also somebody who is an anatomist. So the field of science are beginning to be very narrow. And you need so many minds and so many hands to be able to solve these problems. So I'm sorry for having taken long, but ladies and gentlemen, you are having an opportunity which a lot of us didn't get when we are studying. And you should utilize these opportunities for the sake of doing good research and for the sake of building the reputation of this university and the reputation of our country. And always look at what is going to happen to your own field a few years from now, which means that you should always look into ways of training others. Once you finish your PhD, then you should train others so that continuity will be there. And again, I have to be very grateful for seeing the way you students have made your presentation. And it is actually good because some of you are presenting the presentation for the first time. So you have now been able to be shown by those who have done it before you how to make a good presentation. So there's room for improvement. And the beginning is now. Thank you very much.